Good afternoon, America, the greatest country on earth where hope springs eternal. Today, we're going to talk about making the transition, how military veterans who retire or are med boarded out from the service and how they transition into civilian life successfully. Some of the statistics amongst transitioning veterans: 67% of separating service members develop mental health issues during transition. Hang on. And it's one of the key behavioral health risk factors associated with the elevated suicide rates among the veteran population, PTSD, depression, anxiety, and financial stress. So one of the great programs that is out there, particularly in LA and Orange County, was started by BMW, the ultimate driving machine, if you will. So where human performance meets car performance. And so today we have with us one of the military veterans from the Life Aid program who has successfully transitioned and is now passing it on and paying it forward. So please welcome Antonio Maldonado.
Thank you, JW. Thank you for that. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of this podcast. I think it's very valuable for our service members to find something that they have a passion for and be successful when transitioning out of the military. Like JW said, I was a Marine for 12 years, left the military as a gunnery sergeant. I've been with the brand now for 9 years. Really great. I do recruiting across the United States for our military program, our colleges, technical schools, is what I introduce students to find a career path with our brand. I'm also a representative for BMW North America with our veteran group that we have for all of our veterans in BMW North America. So I like opportunities like this because I want to be able to help veterans with anything that they have any need for. Communication. It is stressful leaving the military, as JW stated. Transitioning for me was after 12 years was really, really difficult.
We might have lost Antonio.
About 2 years to really leave the military. You're there? You're there? Hello?
Yeah, we're here. We're catching every other word of yours.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm driving, so leading the conference. But yeah, it took me about 2 years to transition out of the military, of mindset that the military has. So I think a program that BMW started back in 2018, the Military Service Technician Education Program in Camp Pendleton, is one of our programs that helps service members across all branches learn about automotive for BMW, and then we help them in that transition process to become technicians for the brand across dealerships around the U.S. So phenomenal program that we have here. And with me, I have Jose Martinez, his instructor, James, and a few service members graduate on April 27th of this year after 4 months of BMW training. So I want to pass it over to Jose so he can do his introduction, talk about the program, what the value is, and how BMW is supporting veterans across the United States.
Thank you, Antonio. My name is Jose. I am the supervisor for the MSTEP program at Camp Pendleton. So basically the goal of the program, BMW united with UTI, they collaborated, they got together, and they created what we call MSTEP. In the civilian life, it's called STEP, which is Service Technician Education Program. But now we have a military Service Technician Education Program to help with the transitioning of a former military, any line. It don't matter. We'll take you from, North Carolina, Hawaii. It don't matter what part of the United States you're from. and what line of duty you did, you're welcome to participate. This is a life-changing program. And as I have learned in my time with the program, the importance of not only the education of training them to be technicians, but also being a somewhat of a guide in life, how to look at things, how to handle things, how to approach situations, how they need to take the next step. Like Antonio was saying, 12 years in the military really puts a different aspect in your mind of how to handle situations, how to deal with situations, and just setting you off like that in the open I can see the challenges involved in that. So I've taken a huge step back in trying to understand more about the actual soldier, right? Their needs, not only to learn how to fix vehicles, but also how to take that step out of the military. Right? It is very important. I totally see how your program is going to help here with just getting this information out. These individuals, a lot of them left from right after high school. Never did a job interview, never did anything other than go straight to the military. So their mindset went from following mom and dad's, rules and laws at home to what the military proposes and what they expect from you. And you listen, right? I know you asked them to speak up, but they first have to listen. Once they listen, they have to then take the action and complete the action, right? And we're teaching them the same thing here, but now they're in charge. They're the ones that have control of those steps. They're the ones that decide whether I go left, whether I go right, whether I go 100 yards, or whether I stay here and not move, right? So understanding that and their needs as an individual, because I cannot treat, for example, Ernest, who's on my right, the same as I can treat Zach, who's here on my left. Each one has a different need and a different approach method to teaching and to helping their situations. So, that's my understanding. That's my growth in the program, not only to teach them the BMW aspects, but also help them take that first step outside that door. Okay. And with that, we'll continue with Rob. He's my instructor, and he's also former Navy, so he can kind of go through the transition and explain to you what he went through in his life.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Basically, I transitioned out of the military in 1997. I was one of the original Gulf War kind of thing going on. I didn't have this program available to me when I got out. I got out early. Wife was pregnant. It was a difficult pregnancy. Wanted to take care of her, be a good dad. Mission for me kind of changed quite a bit. From single guy doing your own thing, you're married, now you got a kid. I was on unemployment, didn't really have a pathway forward. Found that I could figure out things with the cars and decided to try it. Sometimes you do have to take a chance on yourself, make plans, stick to it, and let life prove it wrong. Moving forward, I advanced into the BMW dealership on the very bottom. Didn't know how to do oil changes and stuff. Somebody took me under their wing. I learned, grew from there, started teaching others how to do it. And then a foreman, service manager, back to a service advisor, and now training the next round of future technicians through the program.
So that's awesome. One of the questions I have for you is, you came up, like you said, in the first Gulf War, so the 90s, and life was a lot different back then, right? Social media wasn't a big thing. Cell phones were just sort of
no Google, no nothing.
Yeah. So, to what extent working with these younger guys, I don't want to say the word fear, but just the unknown, if you know what I mean, the mindset of you're in the military, everything's done for you. You never have to worry about, you just follow the orders and then you go, and then all of a sudden you're out of the military. No one's telling you what to do, and you have to motivate yourself. With this new generation, what have you seen as the instructor with this group here with like Ernest, Lucas, Zach, and John, or whoever? What do you notice the difference?
So you can take some of the fear out by having a pathway to walk. Ultimately, they've secured jobs for themselves through the resume, through the interview process. BMW does a really good job of having repair instructions to follow. And basically what we do is give them guidelines, and it's up to them to take the step, right? So on the cars, there's repair instructions, there's special tools. You followed, it may not be your specific plan, but you followed what BMW has laid out in front of you. You're following the instructions, you're putting the part on the car. So that kind of takes some of the fear and anxiety out of it. I moved my family coast to coast twice, and you can make money in this industry. You can provide for yourself long term, and you can leave a positive impact where you go. I think that's a lot of the steps forward individually, as well as a nation. We could do that too. Just making things better as you move forward.
So I want to get the 4 students into this conversation. So when you guys are called on, just kind of briefly introduce yourself. So Ernest, what drew you to the BMW program, and what are your future goals with it?
So I was a helicopter tech, and it was just interesting to come out and do something with my hands instead of sitting behind a desk. I've always really enjoyed working on cars. I've done it a couple times in the past, so this provided me an opportunity to continue that and build off of it. It's kind of difficult compared to what I do in the used to do in the military, because like you said, you follow orders, everything's strict. It's organized to a point where it's just like the structure is different than being in a civilian and figuring out things on your way. This kind of gave me a different structure set up, but a structure nonetheless. It keeps me busy, you know. It's a very interesting program. It's a completely different beast than what I'm used to working with just any car. And I'm grateful to have the program, to have the opportunity to do so.
That's awesome. How about you, Lucas? Introduce yourself, your service branch, what you did in the military, and what drew you to this BMW program.
Good afternoon. I'm Lucas. I was in the Navy. I was stationed up in Washington, originally from Detroit, Michigan. Prior to enlisting, I worked at a small mom and pop shop, working as an apprentice fixing cars. I joined the Navy in 2019 as an aviation maintenance admin person, and I didn't really get much hands-on. But as I was looking to get out, I started looking at my options on what I could do once I got out. That's when I stumbled across the Skill Bridge program, letting me learn a brand, and learning the brand and growing as a person helped a lot, and now I know what I want to do with my future.
That's awesome. And full disclosure for you guys, BMW in the 90s was a sponsor of my professional cycling team, and we are a BMW family. We have a BMW in our collection of cars. So just to be clear, in case anybody thinks there's any bias or whatever, but they are awesome cars. Zach, talk to us about your journey and how did you get here?
Yes, good afternoon. My name's Zach. I was a Marine Corps for 4 years. I was a motor transport operator, so I've always been hands-on with vehicles. I've loved my vehicles, love cars. And actually, going into this program 2 years ago, I had owned a BMW, and one of the instructors put his card on my BMW in the parking lot. And I was like, well, I only have 2 years left. did my 2 years, called the recruiter up, and started the program. So I was kind of always wanted to do it, I would say. But yeah, I've always loved BMWs. I love vehicles, love working on them. It's definitely a big change going from instead of just getting the truck up and going to getting it done right, making sure the steps are taken properly, using the right tools. It's definitely a change, but it's a change that I'm willing to do.
That's awesome. And John, how about you? What drew you to this program, and what did you do in the military?
Good afternoon. My name's John. I was a construction mechanic in the Navy. So I've been wrenching for the past 5 years. And when I got close to my time to get out, I always knew about UTI, especially from high school. So I went back to the website and started looking through. And I saw the Skill Bridge program. And most of the programs on there, you have to use your GI Bill. So doing Skill Bridge, I didn't have to pay anything. And I got to use the last little bit of my service, still getting paid to come here and do this. I never really had a ton of interest in BMWs because I've been working on diesels. I really like diesels, but the past 4 months has given me a different appreciation for BMWs. Learning the way they'll treat you to try and help you do better with all the repair instructions, how comfortable they are, how fast they are, the engineering behind it. Yeah, I've gotten a whole new appreciation for BMW for having this program, transitioning out, and all the flexibility that's been given in the process.
Yeah, so you bring up an interesting point. I'll throw this out to the group. Maybe Antonio, if you got better service, you might be able to take this. One of the things that I know in talking to veterans is that a lot of veterans do not realize that you can use your GI Bill for workforce development, for transitioning in. You don't have to necessarily go to college in order to use your GI Bill. So talk a little bit about like the awareness around that issue, because it is a big issue with the veteran transition. And I'll throw that out to Jose, James, or Antonio. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, Rob
James,
here.
if you
I
wanna do this,
was,
I'm getting home right now in about 5 minutes.
okay.
Yeah, go ahead, James, if you want to take that, or whoever was James or
Yes.
Jose.
I was pre 9/11 GI Bill. So that was like an older program. And back in the day, they didn't pay too much and they weren't as flexible. The new GI Bill is way more flexible on some of the retraining programs that you can do. So I'll turn that over to the crew here. Anybody on the GI Bill working?
So like now, currently with the GI Bill, it covers a lot more. You can go to school, you can go to a 4-year college, you can go to a trade school. There are some skill bridge programs that you can use it for if it's not covered or just offered to veterans. Since I've been in, I'm going on 15 years, I've been told quite a few times that if I want to do something or pursue different careers, different programs, whether it's college, that I can use post 9/11 or GI Bill for it. It does cover a good amount and help you transition out, because that transition out is pretty tough. I've been trying to figure it out for a better of probably about 4 or 5 years. And this opportunity popped up last year for me. So I'm really grateful about that.
Anyone else want to throw in there?
So the VA also has, for the older folks, the VRE program, which is Veterans Readiness Education Program. It's designed for folks who may not have any GI Bill eligibility anymore, but it is a retraining program to get you into a job of your choice. You do have to go through the VA system and the counselors have to approve it. It's usually a conversation. They want to make sure you are employable. So for instance, if you're going to be a teacher, they want to make sure there's openings in your field of study. If you wanted to be business admin, medical, whatever it is, they just want to make sure you're not devoting 10, 11, 12 months to a program to get retrained, and then you don't have a job opening for you. So there's the GI Bill. there's college education stuff, and then there's the VRE, Veterans Readiness and Education Program, if you're ineligible for the other two.
That's excellent. Yeah. Those are important things to know. I mean, I know that one of the biggest complaints that we hear from veterans is that there's just a lack of awareness of available resources. And then sometimes it's like there's so many resources that guys are overwhelmed and don't know where to start. And so it's usually one or the other. And that's a real problem. And then at the same time, as you're transitioning, you're also battling with your disability rating, if that's a factor, your benefits, what other benefits you're entitled to. There's a variety of all kinds of different VA benefits that you might have to apply for and how you go about doing that. So it's a real deep pot of bureaucracy that you have to wade through. And I think that we need to keep doing a better job on how we help veterans navigate that process, make it less bureaucratic and more streamlined. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but if you guys want to comment on that.
I agree with that 1,000%. A lot of veterans back off from it or just don't want to deal with it because of the bureaucrat or political, however you want to look at it. The easiest way I can recommend is starting with the VA app, because they have an app that will help you start it out and get the ball rolling to where you don't have to speak to one person who's going to transfer you to another one who says, well, email this person, and then it's like they never get back to you. I definitely recommend going through the app first to get the ball rolling, and then everything kind of just falls into place after that. It'll tell you everything from what number to call, what website to look up. It help you with was it OneSource?
Yeah.
That the military has. It
Right.
gives you every connection, every website or phone number that you need to call to figure it out. And it helps with a lot of veterans who have anxiety from having to jump from one person to the next person to the next person. It really cuts out all of the middlemen for all of that. It helps out a lot.
Anyone else want to comment?
Yeah,
Don't be shy now, boys.
The one big thing I want to say is that, I mean, I'm not a military, I got labeled civilian when I got here. I'm the lower guy here in the totem pole. But the one thing that I do like about BMW is they made it very easy for these guys.
Yeah.
All they need is their commitment. You commit to it, we will give you what you need, right? Nothing is asked from them. Their GI Bill is not in question. We don't ask them for anything here other than their 110%. That's the number one thing I ask for is 110%. It's a 4-month course, and we put you through our own training and boot camp, right? But going out of that political gray tape that you got to go through for all these guys to get here, the hardest part is, I think, for them is to know that the program exists, and there isn't much other than to get into the class and fulfill your 4-month commitment to us and make a career out of BMW. We don't ask for anything else. This is what you want, we'll give it to you at no, it don't matter what your GI Bill is. It don't matter what you got left. It don't matter what you need. Nothing. There's no need. It's 100% covered, and it's really supporting the military 100%. I don't know any other program that does that. And I think we can look around, we can try to search, but I have not heard of one yet.
So that begs the question, why don't other companies adopt or have similar models if they're trying, because you have all these companies trying to hire veterans, right? Everyone is always advertising about wanting to try to hire veterans. So why don't companies do what BMW is doing and make it easier for veterans to get hired? I see everybody laughing.
You know, that is a great question, you know, and bottom line, you know, I don't look at veterans as a business opportunity. And some people probably do. You know, these are believe it or not, I mean, a lot of these gentlemen could be my kids. I call them my children sometimes. You know, they're like I'm helping them grow, you know, and there is no paycheck for that. That is a part of our responsibility as adults to help guide, you know, our younger you know, workforce that's coming up for tomorrow. These are the guys that are going to take care of us tomorrow, right? And we owe them, you know, just based on what they committed to do for, no matter if it was 4 years. There's some people that can't even, you know, do 1 year of a commitment for anything, let alone 4 years, leave your family from a, you know, comfort zone that you feel very protected to pretty much, hey, here you go, grow up overnight, you know? But yeah, we wish we had a better answer for that. But, you know, somebody has to start it. And I feel that we are taking the right steps, you know, and hopefully these 4 gentlemen that are here can help spread that out too, because they are our #1 Instagram or Facebook or communication out there, right? Because going down to the counseling center, our advertisement is so minimal, right? That if they don't hear about it, they won't see it. They're going to miss it, you know, and that's part of one of our biggest challenges. And that's what we're probably hoping that we get out from this podcast, you know, is to get it out there more than just having to find this little dot of in the middle of millions of dots, right? And because these guys need to help.
We have tens of thousands of veterans in our network across the country. Does BMW offer this program in other places besides Southern California, or is Southern California the only place this exists?
No, it also exists. So I'll jump on that question. I'll jump on that question and answer for you. So the program started back in 2018 when again BMW wanted to help service members transition out of the military, but we did not want them to do a program like this using their GI Bill, right? We wanted them to help them while they were still in, and it took us a few years to develop this with the Skill Bridge program, which eventually launched in 2018, was so successful where BMW dealerships love supporting veterans and throughout the nation. And what they did is we ended up having so much advertisement on the program. Dealerships wanted more technicians. Unfortunately, we can only produce 9 technicians in every class. So we cap out at 9. We cannot go over that because the facility, can only manage so many students, and the amount of knowledge that they experience and learn throughout the program in 4 months, it's really difficult if we expand the class to more service members. Although we would like to do that, but unfortunately, with BMW, as everybody knows, is German engineering. It takes a lot of skills and a lot of classroom work, working on our vehicles to be able to work on them proficiently and effectively. So the 9 students that we cap out on is for certain reasons. So we do 4 classes a year, and eventually we ended up opening up a different facility in the East Coast. So we do have one amongst Fort Bragg is our second location that opened up a few years ago because, again, the program became so popular across dealerships. So we do have another program exactly like this in Fort Bragg. So it's open to all service members across all branches, including Air Force, Space Force, Army, Coast Guard. We have had a diversity of applicants apply to this program and get those expertise in BMW, and now they're working at BMW dealerships, starting a new career. So to answer your question, yes, it is now open in Fort Bragg and Camp Pendleton.
Yeah, so we got to get it open in more places because these are the kind of programs that are great. And like the first thing I can say is that, they're talking about how AI is coming around and AI is going to take all these jobs away. Well, they're not going to take auto mechanic jobs away or auto technician jobs away, right? Someone's going to have to turn the wrenches. and do the work that it takes. You know, construction jobs, electrical jobs, plumbing jobs. There's all these different great jobs that military veterans can transition to. I think someone said they weren't going to get the 9-to-5 desk job. They wanted a job, you know, working with their hands or working out in space. And so those are the jobs that AI is never going to replace. And so we're always going to need park rangers. We're always going to need plumbers and mechanics and technicians and those kind of things. So we got to, you know, get the word out, but also make opportunity available so that when there are veterans that want to do it, there's a place for them.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we have one of our Life Aid veterans, Arlene, is here. And one of the things, she's a travel nurse. So same thing, you know, make the transition from, you know, being a nurse in the military to being a nurse in civilian, a little bit easier transition, but still, as you're doing that transition with navigating the benefits and the disability ratings and all that other bureaucratic stuff that you got to deal with, I think every veteran has to deal with that. So talk a little bit about your journey so that people can learn from, because you're the ace at the benefit disability rating appeal stuff. You've had more success than just about any veteran I know. So kind of talk a little bit about that process.
I think the biggest hurdle with the disability rating process is the communication and the understanding veterans have about their disabilities. I always tell veterans, when you came into the military, you were a shiny new penny. And that penny was dragged along the ground, was kicked, was dropped. And after, 10, 15 years or even 5 years, that penny is not shiny and bright and it had dents in it. And that is, that's what we have to understand, that it's okay to apply for your benefits. And a lot of veterans don't apply for their benefits because they don't understand that they qualify. And then once they do understand that they qualify, then they have to understand how to communicate with the VA disability system, which is very complex. So, and for me, being a nurse and also a case manager who understood it, it still took me a long time to get my rating.
No, I mean, that process is super bureaucratic, and it sort of has to be, I guess, because you want to try to avoid fraud and all that other stuff. So one question for the BMW group, are all of you guys enrolled in the VA?
I just started
Yeah.
my whole process.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've started.
we're still transitioning out, so we still have a couple more months.
Yeah, because one of the things that I know is a lot of guys don't apply for VA. And my recommendation has always been, it's free to enroll. And those are benefits that you earn from your service. So why not do it? Even if you never go, or even if you don't ever want to go, by enrolling in the VA, let's say something happens to you down the road in your life that was somehow connected to your service. Like, let's say you get cancer because you had burn pit exposure or whatever it is. Having been enrolled in, right at the transition point, now you have a marker. So it makes it harder, makes it easier on you in the future when you might need it, because who knows what the future is going to hold, right? So I don't know, James, if you want to, because you're the kind of the old timer here, if you want to comment on that.
Yeah, I didn't get started with the VA until probably 2 years ago. I was working at a dealership. A couple of the customers I had started kind of encouraging me. One was a major in the Army and she was a doctor. She said, hey, just take 20 minutes, go online, fill out the questionnaire, at least get started. And that led to other things. I have my last VA medical appointment that I think is related to other stuff, coming up soon, and then I'll feel like I finally took care of myself. The hard part was the 28 or so years in between. Things were happening, I just didn't understand why. I literally had no background for it, didn't think I was eligible. I will say the act that was passed, the PACT Act, actually made it more easier and approachable for me, especially because other people were telling me this. So I networked with other veterans, which allowed me to see there might be a pathway forward for me. I didn't want to try it and fail, right? But I did take the first step, and as it turned out, you do have to advocate for yourself. But after doing that, and the things that are legitimate, they'll take care of. I've been very pleased. The doctors at the VA Center here in San Bernardino have been great. Everybody is genuine. They really want to track down the problem, give you the answer, and then get you the treatment you need. I don't get the idea that the people treating the VA at the medical facility have any bias one way or the other. They're in that job because they like it and they want to help people. You may
No, I
have
totally agree with that.
bureaucracy to get through to get to that point, but those are kind of like gatekeepers, and I hate to say it, bean counters, and like they're worried about putting their name on something that might not be legit, but if it's legit and it's provable and it's factual, that's the way it is, man. Those laws were written for a reason to help people. And you don't realize what you gave up by serving.
No, exactly. I mean, I think that the bureaucracy part is the part that drives everybody nuts, right? It seems like it's overburdensome and that it could be easier to do. I mean, you're dealing with government, so you're always going to have to deal with bureaucracy. It's just the nature of government. But if it had like more, I'll just say this nicely as I can, if they had more common sense bureaucracy, maybe that would be the way to do it. I see Ernest is laughing, so go ahead. Is what I'm saying resonating with you?
Yes, sir. That common sense thing is a real issue when it comes to all of that. It's not common. There's a lot of, like you said earlier, gray area, and veterans kind of like steer clear of it because for so long we're pushed and taught, if it's not this, then you're not going to get it, flat out. And it's really not the case when it comes to this, unfortunately. Sometimes you have to push because they will stonewall you, especially if you don't have the paperwork for it. You have to push through, because if you don't, you're just gonna sit there and suffer, and it's not your fault. You have to fight through.
No, I mean, one of the things that we're setting up, we're in the process of setting up, is an integrated holistic health and well-being program for military veterans and first responders, where I would classify it as resilience basic training. Especially for those in that transition phase, like a lot of guys are dealing with whatever combat exposure or moral injury or whatever physical injury, mental injury that happened during their service. And at the same time, they need a job, but maybe they're not 100% in the right frame of mind to be able to successfully complete that. Like, I believe it was Jose that was saying all he asked for is 110% commitment. Well, some guys may in spirit have that commitment, but may not be able to deliver that commitment because they just need a little bit of remediation, if you will. I don't know if you want to speak to that, Jose, as you guys select people for the program, but that's what I see in our population, at least.
Yeah, I mean, these guys can speak for themselves. I mean, they know what we bring to the table. I'm not just here, like I said, as an instructor. We'll sit out there. The 110% is a small part of their challenge. You know, they still got to deal with home issues, military issues, and then they got to deal with us, right? You know, Ernest has had his challenges, Lucas, Zach, and John. Everybody's different, like I told you from the beginning, but we're here in a bigger support. Antonio can tell you himself too. I mean, we're available 24/7, right? You call us on the weekend, we're gonna answer. We're gonna talk about you. We're gonna make plans for you. We're gonna help you, but not just with your education, but how to make sure that you graduate. Go to a facility in your choosing anywhere in the United States. Mr. Ernest is going to Michigan. Lucas is also in Michigan. Zach is going to Florida, and John is the only one staying local in Encinitas. Escondido, BMW, right? So, you know, not just to, you know, educate them, but make sure they continue their career, that they're successful, not just today, but tomorrow. What are your problems tomorrow? Call me, give me a call. We just had this conversation this morning.
Yep.
Right? I just reinforced it. I am not just here till the end of your graduation. I am here for your career. Right? And once you've learned that, like you said, we are a family. BMW, me doing it for 20 years, it has taught me what it is to be in a big company, but such a small group of individuals that wherever you go, you're going to run into somebody you know, right? And you keep in touch, you keep encouraging, you keep, you know, I never left the field. Even though I left my wrench at home, right? I'm using my other tool, which is, you know, one big thing I emphasize with these guys is, you know, I don't care what you have in your hands. I don't care if it says Snap-on. I don't care if it says Macro. The most important tool is the one you have on the top, you know, between your eyes and the back of your head up here. That's your best important and most important tool, you know, and
Well,
that's
no,
what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, I always preach to veterans, you know, belief system, sense of purpose, you know, self-awareness are invaluable foundational skills that you will use your entire life. Like you're never going to not need those things. And, you know, the connections you make along your life journey are important. And the skill set it takes to maintain those connections and those relationships is also important. And a lot of times we don't teach people how to do that. And that's something that when I talk about resilience basic training, that's one of the things that we do teach in the program, and some of the things that we're going to really expand on as we launch this new effort. So that's something that is really super important. How do you guys deal with risk, fear, failure, criticism, identity, happiness, you know, mentorship, relationships, self-awareness? You know, those are really important skills to also develop. And it's not necessarily BMW's job to help those guys develop it, but as human beings, it's good for us to work with each other to develop those things.
Right. You know, and one big thing, like I tell these guys that, you know, we all make mistakes. You know, we all make mistakes, but we learn. That's the number one thing, is to learn from your mistakes. And I keep telling them, you know, I mean, I wasn't here 20 years without a couple of triples and trips and falls, right? We all got there one day, but I tell them I'm very, very, very adamant about, I don't care how you fall. I care about more how you get up. How are you going to recover from that fall? That's what I'm more concerned about, right? Because, you know, that's what's going to make you or break you. So, you know, I really, you know, I reach my hand out to them in a way that is going to, you know, keep them motivated to move forward and not just consider this your end, right? This is not the bottomless pit. There's a way out, right? And that's what's more important to me, for them to know that there is a way out and that you will do better, you will grow. And this is just part of that growth. And it's not a bad thing.
No, always be on the growth path, boys. That's the number one, you know, number one thing is always keep moving forward. And the most important part of life is always continue to grow. You're never I don't care how old you are, you always want to get better.
I agree.
I agree.
To what extent does
Absolutely.
BMW? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, JW, can you guys, some of my students are one or all, can you guys give us an overview of what you guys have done in the program, of type of training and things of that nature within those 4 months that you guys have been in the class, so that the audience can understand what the program is really about? It doesn't have to go into detail, but can you guys give us some examples of when you started and what level are you in now of your expertise within the brand?
Once again.
Yeah, man.
So at the beginning, we started with the basics, just learning the car, learning the components it has, engine component identification, what creature comforts it has, and just kind of slowly work. Even small things like taking the tire off isn't the same as every other car. Learning tires, brakes, inspections, learning the forms you're gonna have to use with it, into getting into more big jobs. Recently, it was like 2 weeks ago, we pulled an engine and transmission out of a car. Yesterday we just finished up injectors, wastegates. It started off pretty low, just learning the car into actual big work, and not just learning it out on the field, but being able to do those mistakes here, and understanding how the car is here and understanding the repair instructions.
The brand itself is a beast of its own. It's different. I've worked on quite a few brands, from domestic to international. It doesn't matter. This program, from, like you said, from changing the tire to an oil change versus taking out the engine, basic, even the wiper blades, like simple things that we was like, oh, this isn't gonna take long.
2 hours in.
2 hours, yeah, 2 hours. Then we're sitting here like, what? I don't understand. Then you
Yeah.
go and look it up. They have the best program that I've dealt with, to where it's like, yo, how do I do this? I go log into their program, and it's just like, wow, it breaks it down step by step and explains why. It's not just, oh, we're changing this because it doesn't work anymore. Well, why doesn't it work? Mr. Martinez showed us it works this way, and there's all of these different ways to where it can cause a fault or an issue. But we can't teach you every way that it doesn't work, but we can teach you how it's supposed to work, and that way you can work your way back to what's causing it not to work. And they have BMW's program specifically explains everything in detail. Well, this is how it's supposed to work. Now, follow these steps and explain how to fix why it's not working. I can't emphasize enough that no other brand explains it to the detail that BMW does, or has the resources to help you figure it out. In the military, oh, this is broken, switch this. Follow this, switch this. Oh, it doesn't work anymore? All right, get a whole new part. Trash that. Get a whole new thing. BMW can literally explain down to the
Wire.
the wire, the basic thing. Like, well, this is how you fix it, instead of throwing out the whole thing. So it's worth the time. It helps a lot. And for anyone transitioning, it will help you figure out the scary parts. It's like, oh no, there's something I want to do. It'll give you the purpose. It'll help you figure out your life.
And this is a good place too to learn all the mistakes rather than working on the customer's cars. We've definitely take something off and like, oh, that wasn't supposed to come off like that. And I'd much rather do that here than
Out in the field.
mistakes there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of other places, they just throw you out there and be like, yeah, I'll figure it out. It's too late by then.
Yeah, well, if you guys work on my BMW, you better not screw it up.
Not at all. Not anymore.
Right. It got to the point where it was like, yeah, we figured it out.
We're thinking.
We know how to do it before.
We learned if it comes out with force and you're doing something wrong,
Yep.
you gotta go back and really think about what you're doing.
It's all finesse.
Yep, and that's
Yeah. Simple, right? KISS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these guys are pretty, they're pretty shy guys. I really don't think they remember everything they do. They forget what they did yesterday sometimes. But they forget they've torn down the interior of a car. They've taken out dashes. They've center consoles. They've done fuel systems. We have injectors that don't use gaskets that have to be precisely machine sealed, torqued a specific way. I mean, it's very complex. I mean, they tore apart an engine the other day down to the pistons sitting outside on the table and then have to reassemble it back together. So, I mean, they learn quite a bit, but and this is one of their biggest challenges. Are you going to remember it in a year from now? Are you going to remember it in 6 months?
Right.
That's really their challenges right there. So we emphasize a lot in understanding the repair instructions, your resources, right? And we're not talking about Chat GPT or Google. We're talking about BMW Insta. We're talking about repair instructions, your TIS, right? I mean, these guys know it, right? But they just, sometimes it takes a little bit more, but they've gotten so much from us, right? Which what I tell them, I'm a tool, use me, get whatever you can out of me, because everything that you take with you is going to make you $1, right? So, that we're an open book, and we're not stopping there. We follow them, we push them, and we find their weaknesses and we push on those too, right? Because I want you to be a balanced technician. I don't want you just doing oil service all your life, right? You're capable, that's why you're here. If you weren't capable, you wouldn't be here. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was in school, we still had mechanics class, home ec class, all that sort of thing. And I remember in auto mechanic class, they used to give us a big Briggs and Stratton 2-stroke engine. You'd have to take the thing completely apart and put it back together again. And, you do that, every year of the class to reinforce what you're just talking about. Could you do it a year from now? And if you were 1 year older, then you were the mentor for the freshman kid who had never done it before, to make sure that you could get the thing started when you put it back together again. And if it didn't start, you were in trouble.
Yeah, very true.
Well, they don't have those classes anymore, which is a real shame. That's a whole nother topic for another podcast, I would say.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the future. So for each of you, you guys look like you're all pretty young, 20s, I'm guessing.
Yes, all right. Yeah.
So let's go around the horn here as we close out, and just talk about, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? And just whatever you want to say about what you think your future is. I just think it'd be interesting for the people that are going to end up watching this, especially the veterans that are going to watch this. Talk a little bit about your future. So we'll start with you, Ernest.
Well, I was recently informed that I can make master tech in less time than I thought. So I want to say like 5-10 years, I plan on being a master tech and making another career out of this outside of the military. Before I was just like, this gave me something to do. Now it's more like, oh, this is something I'm gonna really love to do and continue as long as I can, God willing.
Lucas?
Yeah, in about 5 years, I would say probably a master tech by then, making some good money. Not nothing crazy, just keep it chugging.
John, I'm gonna say something about Lucas real quick, John. This guy came to me about a week and a half later. As soon as he started the school,
3 days.
like, 3 days later?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 days later, John, he came to me and said, Mr. Martinez, I don't think I can do this. Okay? And I just want you to hear I mean, the difference from where I saw him literally 4 months ago, him being scared, now, you know, just feeling the pressure. We talked to him and encouraged him to continue. And I think he's like one of our top guys now, literally, you know. And just to hear him say, I'm gonna, in 5 years, 10 years, to have an idea that I'm going to be here, it's, you know, he's flipped over 180 degrees, totally different person now. And that's the benefits of being in my position, to see that change in him, in all of them. You know, I just wanted to throw those 2 cents in there, man, that, like I said, he was ready to quit. I'm ready to go. I can't do this anymore. And now I'm hearing what his plans are for the next 5, 10 years, you know, and it's inspiring to me. We're doing it and heading in the right direction.
So one thing I'll say, Jose, to you, and also to James and to Antonio, one of the things that I'm really big on is mentorship. I created this app, and it gives you a score for your life. So it gives you a score for mental health, spiritual health, physical health, sleep, nutrition, food. But we look at mindset and we look at mentorship. And I can tell you the data is 100% for every test. We've had thousands of people use the app. People that have good mentors, and we're talking about military veteran community that are most of the app users. Those military veterans that have a mentor are 10 to 25% healthier than people that don't have a mentor. It really makes a difference. I think it's because you always know you have someone that you can go to with stuff that you're not going to necessarily tell your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your parents, whatever it is. You have that mentor, and how important that mentor is in your life. It's really invaluable to your overall health and success. So good for you, good for all you guys, and good for Lucas, Ernest, Zach, and John, that they have someone like you as a mentor, because good mentors are worth their weight in gold.
A lot of gold right here.
Yeah. Continue, Zach. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Zach, you're the next guy.
Yeah, so I'm not too different from them. Pretty much the same track, 5 to 10 years. Hopefully by then I can make Master Tech and keep struggling with my career and doing the best I can with it.
Yeah,
All right, John.
I'm hoping to not stop in the industry. I want to keep kind of growing. I'm 24. My body's already hurting from being a mechanic for the past 5 years. So I know it's not going to be a forever thing, but I want to try and stay in the community, because I've seen the advancement in other people not just stopping at tech. And it seems like a good company to be in from low to high.
Well, one thing I'll say to you, John, and I don't know, maybe Jose or James or Antonio's already said this to you, but someone has to be the next Jose, James, or Antonio. So maybe that's your future. If you can't be a mechanic, you can teach people how to be a mechanic.
All
So
right.
don't leave that on the table.
Definitely. Yeah.
And that
Yes,
goes
sir.
for all you guys. All you guys could be the next Jose and James, because someone's going to have to step up and do that.
Mhm.
Even though Jose is a good-looking young man, he's not going to be around forever. So,
Oh yeah.
I'll take your position, but I'll keep my hair.
There you go.
well, there's always people that are follically challenged.
Yeah. These guys got a lot to learn. They don't know the privileges I got, you know? I don't have
Well,
any
maybe
problems
it's
with morning.
because you were dealing with guys that weren't as good as Zach, Ernest, and John and Lucas.
Right.
So you lost off. You were pulling your hair out dealing with these other guys.
I always say I had to make room for my intelligence. I pushed the hair out of the way.
All right, guys. Well, it was great to have you. I'm going to throw it, Antonio, if you have any final words about the program or what you want people to know or whatever you want to say. Let's close it out here.
Awesome. Yeah, John, I just want to thank you for your time and giving us the opportunity to get on this podcast, speak about our BMW program, and giving the guys an opportunity to get heard by an audience that we can push out there, so people are aware. Active duty members can apply to this program. If you do want some information about the program, visit www.bmwstep.com. reach out to me directly through email on that app. It'll send me a direct link message to you, so we can definitely hook up and give you the information that you need. We're looking for any active duty member within a year of their EAS, or the Army uses ETS, I believe, right? So different terms, same thing. But that's what we're looking for. If you're about a year out, contact us. We'll put you in a process where we can see if you're a good candidate for us and we're a good candidate for you, and select you for the course, so we can give you a start date. Not having to use your GI Bill is 100% what we're looking for. Is we want to give you the training while you're still in active duty, get you out to the workforce, help you transition out and be successful. So if you want to reach us, www.bmwstep.com, and we'll get you connected to the right person, myself, and we'll get you going. But thank you again, JW. I think you've been great. Gentlemen, you guys have been awesome. I want to congratulate you guys on your graduation on April 27th. Have a great career with BMW. You're off to the right start. You have the right fundamentals. You had a perfect instructor, supervisor there for you that taught you the right way and the correct way, because at the end of the day is working on a car that you want to be proud of, because it's going to go out to somebody's family. Somebody's going to get behind that wheel. And you were the systematic expert and that technician that fixed that car. You are responsible for somebody's life, right? If something happens, you're the technician that worked behind that vehicle, and you want to be sure that it was worked and fixed the correct, proper way to have that, to have that person drive a reliable BMW and transport their family, their kids, and enjoy driving the ultimate driving machine. So thank you, JW.
Nice branding plug there at the end, Antonio. So guys, are any of you guys Dodger fans by any chance?
Dodgers.
We got Dodger game on April 28th and April 29th. So you can, if you guys want to come, we'll make sure you get tickets.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
That goes for you too, Jose and James. We go to games all the time, and we just happen to have back-to-back games. So the group that goes one day will have a different group the next day, but it's a great way to come out and meet fellow veterans and just hang out and have a good time at the ballpark. Really good experience, and luckily for us, the Dodgers kick ass. So if you guys are Detroit Tiger fans, you can see what it's like to have a team that wins.
We're not very good right now, but it's all right. It's all right.
You could be a Rockies.
We're at 500 at least right now. They're playing right now. I didn't see the score, but
Well, you have the best pitcher in baseball, so at least you got something to look forward to.
Scoops is
Once
very
every 5 days, you got a chance.
I love Scoops.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So I see that we have a couple other veterans in the queue, Juan and Hector. I don't know if you guys want to say anything, but we'll open it up if you guys want to say anything.
It's really cool meeting everybody, and one of the greatest, or one of the things that happened to me is that when I got out 15 years ago, there was no, like, I got out and it was pretty much you're on your own, you figure it out, and you do you pretty much. So having resources like John, or like making resources accessible for everybody, it's pretty great. So definitely take advantage of that, and yeah, just keep working on your goals, and everything that you're striving for, and yeah, just keep on going.
And Juan, you're about to graduate with an engineering computer tech degree, aren't you?
Yes. So this on May, I graduate from Cal State Northridge with my bachelor's in computer science. So yeah, it's definitely been, I've had to use the VRNE. So I don't know if you guys heard about that. That's separate from your GI Bill. So you can definitely take advantage of that, and without touching your GI Bill. Because I believe that GI Bill, you can pass it on to your sons or your offspring, I believe. I'm not sure on that though. But yeah, I definitely took advantage of that, and yeah, it's been pretty great. There's been hard times, but there's also been really nice times too. And yeah, and I've followed John quite a bit, and yeah, all the resources, and because like you mentioned, his approach is a holistic approach. So because if you go to the VA, they're just gonna tell you take this medicine, you're right. But also it's also about hanging out with other people, talking with other people. These Dodger games are not just to go see a game, but also like you're around other veterans and you're around other people that that understand where you're coming from.
Thank you. Hector, do you want to say anything? All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Jose and James, I'll let you guys have the last word.
Same thing here as Mr. Antonio was saying, this is huge for us. This is new to us. This is great to have the opportunity just to share, just a little bit of what we have out there for these gentlemen. It is life changing. It is hard work. It ain't free. You got to earn it too. And most of our guys that come here, some blow through it like nothing, and some blow through it with the limp, but they get through it. That's the most important part. But really appreciate giving us the opportunity to to speak our 2 cents out there, and reach out to these guys, because we need to be a brighter light. We're still very dim, and we're trying to get bigger and bigger. Like Antonio, he's one of our great resources. Again, he's the one that connected us with you guys. So our family just got bigger, and that's great. So anything like this is grateful and appreciated. So thank you for having us here.
We really appreciate you guys being here, and the Life Aid tent, if you will, is a big family. Like I said, we got thousands or tens of thousands across the country. So welcome to the family. Once you get in, you can't get out. Just a warning. So yeah, so life is hard. And I always say the Life Aid program is part hug, part kick in the pants. And the key is knowing which one to apply at which time.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Until next week, where hope springs eternal.